Welcome to the Left Library, where we simplify political philosophy, political economy, and political science. Today we're diving into Antonio Gramsci's prison notebooks, written between 1929 and 1935 during his imprisonment by the Italian fascist regime. These notebooks explore crucial concepts such as cultural hegemony, the role of intellectuals, and the state's function in maintaining capitalist societies. Whether you're new to Gramsci's ideas or a neo-Gramscian, this text offers profound insights into the mechanisms of power and social control. In this video, we'll explore these following 5 key concepts from prison notebooks. First, we'll discuss Gramsci's concept of cultural hegemony, emphasizing how dominant groups maintain power by shaping cultural norms and ideologies. We'll then delve into Gramsci's analysis of intellectuals, their functions within society, and their potential to drive social change. Next, we'll explore Gramsci's distinction between political society and civil society, examining how the state operates to sustain the capitalist system. Fourthly, we examine Gramsci's war of maneuver, outlining his strategic concepts for achieving social transformation, highlighting the differences between direct confrontations and prolonged struggles for ideological dominance. And finally, we'll discuss Gramsci's reflections on the socio-economic disparities between northern and southern Italy and their implications for revolutionary strategy. Main concepts in prison notebooks. Cultural hegemony. One of Gramsci's most influential concepts is cultural hegemony, which refers to the ways in which the ruling class maintains its dominance by shaping the cultural and ideological landscape. Unlike traditional notions of power that focus on coercive force, Gramsci emphasizes the importance of consent in the exercise of power. He argues that the ruling class creates and propagates a cultural and ideological framework that makes its dominance appear natural and inevitable. Gramsci writes, "The supremacy of a social group manifests itself in 2 ways, as domination and as intellectual and moral leadership," in 57. This means that the ruling class not only controls political and economic institutions, but also shapes cultural and ideological norms. By influencing education, religion, media, and other cultural institutions, the ruling class can create a consensus that aligns with its interests. This hegemonic culture subtly reinforces the status quo by promoting values, beliefs, and practices that support the existing social order. For example, the idea of meritocracy, the belief that success is based solely on individual effort, obscures structural inequalities and justifies the concentration of wealth and power. By making these ideas appear universal and common sense, the ruling class secures the consent of the governed, minimizing the need for coercion. Gramsci's analysis of cultural hegemony highlights the importance of cultural and ideological struggle in the process of social transformation. He argues that challenging the dominance of the ruling class requires not only political and economic struggle, but also efforts to create alternative cultural and ideological frameworks. This involves developing and supporting counter-hegemonic, or what Gramsci terms subaltern, meaning from below, culture that exposes the contradictions of the existing order and mobilizes support for revolutionary change. The role of intellectuals. Gramsci distinguishes between traditional intellectuals who are linked to the dominant social groups and organic intellectuals who emerge from and articulate the experiences and aspirations of the working class. He argues that intellectuals play a crucial role in shaping and disseminating ideology, and therefore they are central to both maintaining and challenging hegemony. Gramsci writes, "All men are intellectuals, but not all men have in society the function of intellectuals," p. 9. This means that while everyone has intellectual capacities, the role of intellectuals as a social group is to develop and spread ideas that shape public consciousness. Traditional intellectuals, such as academics, journalists, and clergy, often serve the interests of the ruling class by reinforcing hegemonic ideas. In contrast, organic intellectuals arise from within the working class and other subaltern groups. They articulate the experiences and interests of these groups, challenging the dominant ideology and promoting a counter-hegemonic worldview. Gramsci sees organic intellectuals as vital to the revolutionary process because they can bridge the gap between theory and practice, helping to translate revolutionary ideas into practical strategies for change. Gramsci also emphasizes the need for the working class to develop its own intellectuals and cultural institutions. He argues that building a revolutionary movement requires more than just political organization. It also requires creating an alternative cultural and intellectual infrastructure that can challenge the hegemony of the ruling class. This involves establishing schools, media, and other institutions that can nurture and disseminate revolutionary ideas. The state and civil society. Gramsci's analysis of the state distinguishes between political society and civil society. Political society consists of the government and other institutions that exercise direct control through laws and coercive force. Civil society, on the other hand, includes the institutions and practices through which consent is organized, such as education, religion, and media. Gramsci writes, "The state is the entire complex of practical and theoretical activities with which the ruling class not only justifies and maintains its dominance, but manages to win the active consent of those over whom it rules." p. 244. This means that the state functions not only through coercion, but also through the production of consent. By controlling both political society and civil society, the ruling class can maintain its dominance with minimal resistance. Gramsci's concept of the integral state encompasses both political society and civil society, highlighting the interconnectedness of coercion and consent in the exercise of power. He argues that the stability of the capitalist system relies on the ability of the ruling class to balance coercive force with the production of consent. When consent is eroded, the ruling class may resort to more overt forms of coercion to maintain control. Gramsci's analysis of the state also includes a critique of economic determinism. While he acknowledges the importance of economic factors, he argues that political and ideological struggle is equally crucial in the process of social transformation. He emphasizes the need for a comprehensive strategy that addresses both the material and ideological dimensions of power. War of position and war of maneuver. Gramsci introduces the concepts of war of position and war of maneuver as strategies for achieving social transformation. The war of maneuver refers to direct frontal attacks on the state, such as revolutionary uprisings and armed insurrections. The war of position, on the other hand, involves a prolonged struggle for ideological and cultural dominance within civil society. Gramsci argues that in advanced capitalist societies, the war of position is more relevant than the war of maneuver. He writes, "In the West, the state was only an outer ditch, behind which there stood a powerful system of fortresses and earthworks." p. 229. This means that the state is not the only source of power. It is supported by a complex network of institutions and practices within civil society that must be contested and transformed. The war of position involves building a counter-hegemonic culture and creating alternative institutions that can challenge the dominance of the ruling class. This requires a comprehensive strategy that includes political organization, cultural production, and intellectual engagement. Gramsci emphasizes the importance of patience and perseverance in the war of position, as it is a long-term struggle that requires sustained effort and commitment. Gramsci's concepts of war of position and war of maneuver provide a strategic framework for revolutionary movements. They highlight the need to adapt strategies to the specific conditions of the society in question. recognizing that direct confrontation with the state may not always be the most effective approach. Instead, building a broad-based movement that can contest and transform the cultural and ideological foundations of the existing order is essential for achieving lasting social change. The Southern Question. In his reflections on the Southern Question, Gramsci addresses the socio-economic disparities between northern and southern Italy and their implications for revolutionary strategy. He argues that the uneven development between the industrialized north and the agrarian south poses significant challenges for building a unified revolutionary movement. Gramsci writes, "The Southern Question is not merely an economic problem, but a political one, involving the integration of the Southern peasantry into the national revolutionary movement." p. 67. He emphasizes the need to bridge the gap between the industrial working class in the north and the peasantry in the south, recognizing that their interests and experiences are distinct but interconnected. Gramsci advocates for a strategy that addresses the specific conditions of the South, including land reform, education, and cultural development. He argues that the revolutionary movement must incorporate the struggles and aspirations of the Southern peasantry, recognizing their potential as a crucial ally in the fight against the ruling class. This involves building alliances and creating a common political program that can unite the diverse social forces within Italy. Gramsci's analysis of the Southern Question also highlights the importance of understanding and addressing regional disparities within the broader context of national and international struggles. He argues that revolutionary movements must be attentive to the specific conditions and experiences of different social groups, recognizing that a one-size-fits-all approach is unlikely to succeed. Instead, building a broad-based, inclusive movement that can address the diverse needs and aspirations of the working class and other subaltern groups is essential for achieving social transformation. Conclusion. Antonio Gramsci's Prison Notebooks is a foundational text for understanding the mechanisms of power and social control in capitalist societies. For those new to Gramsci's ideas, it offers a comprehensive introduction to key concepts such as cultural hegemony, the role of intellectuals, and the state's function in maintaining capitalist dominance. For those familiar with these ideas, it provides deeper insights into the strategies and tactics for achieving revolutionary change. Gramsci challenges us to rethink the nature of power and the importance of cultural and ideological struggle in the process of social transformation. His analysis emphasizes the need for a comprehensive strategy that addresses both the material and ideological dimensions of power, recognizing that building a counter-hegemonic culture is essential for achieving lasting social change. So what do you think about Gramsci's concepts of cultural hegemony and the role of intellectuals? How do you see his ideas applying to contemporary social and political struggles? Do you see yourself as a neo-Gramscian? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Antonio Gramsci's Prison Notebooks. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and fellow enthusiasts of political philosophy, political economy, and political science. Don't forget to subscribe to the Left Library for more in-depth reviews and discussions on influential works in these fields. Click the notification bell so you never miss an update. We simplify political philosophy, political economy, and political science to make them accessible and engaging for everyone. Thank you again for watching, and remember, understanding the theories behind social change is the first step towards making a real difference. Keep questioning, keep learning, and keep striving for a better world.